to tell them about all our UFO shit? Okay. Well, for me, in 2004 is when I saw my first flying saucer. Um, I went up to my dad's house and he was on vacation, and I went and used the internet because I didn't have internet and I just wanted to download as much UFO footage and pictures as I could off peer to peer networking. And then that's what I did. And then the next morning, I was eating cereal on the couch and I turned on the television, and there was a dozen UFOs over Mexico City. And I never saw that story again. I don't know if it just blipped off the radar, but later that day I was recording piano at my dad's house, and there was a silver flying saucer that flew over the house in the middle of doing piano tracks, and I call that song I Saw a UFO because that was the first time I saw a UFO. And I went back up to my dad's house later that night and I saw multiple glowing white orbs in the sky, just lights, I guess you'd say. I wouldn't call it an orb. And they would traverse in the sky in a way that a satellite doesn't because they go in the same direction. And they were bright and glowing lights, and they were flying around above my dad's house. And I went up on the hill and I was there till sunrise. It all kind of went pretty fast. I'm not sure if I had missing time there or anything, but what I was doing is I was asking what I could do to help, and I was full of tears, and that's when I got the idea to make this website called theatombomb.com because they're really concerned about nuclear weapons right now. And so that's how I got the idea, and so I call myself the world's nuclear diplomat, and I even changed my name from ADAM to ATOM, because I want the message to go out that we need to stop making nuclear bombs, and we need to safely cool all our nuclear power plants. That's been my message ever since. As far as the UFO stuff goes, my next one was at my house on Ramona, and I told my friend London about my experience at my dad's house and stuff, and he took me to the internet and he showed me this guy called Prophet Yahweh on YouTube, and I realized that UFOs could be summoned. And we went into my backyard, and sure enough, we were laying on our backs, calling for a summoning, and this gray orb comes out of nowhere and flies into this chemtrail at night over my house to go check it out because we wanted it to check out the trail over my house. And yeah, this gray orb flies out of nowhere, flies into the trail. And I guess I had one more before that where I this was before I saw him. I was thinking about uh, how cool it would be to see one, and and 3 UFOs went over Wenatchee. Those were just kind of like lights in the sky. Um, but since then, I've had so many that it's hard to number them all or anything. Um, I've seen glowing disc. My first real legitimate summoning. After that, I was by myself, waiting for my dad on the job site. I was just sitting there, Indian style, kind of like I am now, and I don't think that has anything to do with it. But I was just thinking how cool it would be if they would show themselves, and this white glowing disc comes out of the clouds, and I pointed it out to the Mexican guy working concrete. I showed him it's between the telephone pole and that part of the cable coming down to the road, and he saw it too. So that's when I really knew that you can do this. You can summon UFOs and they can read your thoughts, because I didn't say anything out loud. One sec. Let me check the time. After that, I've seen other types. I've seen glowing lights in the sky at night, white lights usually. Spheres. I've seen gray spheres and white spheres. I saw what looked like the monolith on 2010 Space Odyssey, this black rectangle just sitting in the sky once, and my friends and I are all at the Frisbee golf course, and there's this black rectangle just sitting over Wenatchee, and they couldn't believe it. Like, they had to come up with some alternative explanation, like it must be, balloons or something. I had another friend say that same thing with this black UFO over Spokane. We were recording tracks over at my friend's house, Kay Clifton, and I walked out the front door, and his girlfriend was like, "Oh, look, a UFO!" And there was this black morphing UFO hanging like just to the right of the park across the street from his house. And I think it's kind of like how the Native Americans viewed sail ships coming across the Atlantic. They couldn't believe their eyes at first. They didn't think it was real or something. Like that, people say, like on YouTube, when I pointed out the UFO on the CNN clip, that it must be a helicopter, because it's like they can't fathom, their brain isn't ready for the adjustment or something to see what they're seeing. The same thing happened with my mom. I summoned a UFO on the ski hill, and it was this morphing UFO with different colors and stuff. And my mom thought it must be a parasailer. She just couldn't fathom. My own mother, couldn't even fathom that what she was seeing. I've had other witnesses. So there was London Laidlaw in the backyard, my house on Ramona. When I went to the Ween show in Seattle, I got a white glowing orb over Seattle, and Beth Roy was in the car with me. She can vouch for that. Uh, I don't know. I think Alfred has seen uh, maybe a thing or two. Uh, I've seen a silver disc, a glowing disc, uh, white orb, gray orb, black rectangle. That's pretty much what I've seen. And lights at night. Uh, I want to tell you, this year, every time I came home from band practice, I saw a UFO coming home. I would see one just about every week. Uh, I haven't been playing, and so I haven't been seeing them lately or anything, but it's pretty cool. I mean, I got to talking with Prophet Yahweh on the internet, and we became friends, and it's kind of cool to know that there's other people who are summoning UFOs, and it's exciting. Well, Molly here has seen a few things. I saw a UFO. It was a white orb the night I went to go pick her up the first time, and that was pretty cool. Um, Go ahead and tell him if you.
Huh?
Well, yeah, tell him what you've seen.
Um, I've only seen a few. The first one was in late 1999, early 2000 in the winter, and I was taking a friend of mine back to his house, and we had another friend with us. It was three of us, and we were going on Highway 158 between Winston and Stokesdale, North Carolina, and it was really late, like 4 o'clock in the morning or something like that. And when we pulled off of 158 to go on our friend's road to take him home, we were at a stop sign, and I felt like there was something there, and I kind of saw the corner of my eye like a glowing, and so I look up, and by the time I could say it and my two friends could say, oh God, what is that in the sky? It zoomed off really, really fast, and what we saw, it was really big. It was like the size of a football field, a neon green glowing halo. That's all it was, and it looked like it was flat, like one-dimensional. It didn't really have much shape to it. It was just like this big glowing O in the sky. And then I didn't see one again for a long time. I'd say it was around 2006 or 2007. I was at a festival in Asheville, outside of Asheville, in Horseshoe. And I was out by the lake with my girlfriend Erin, and we noticed this group of lights over the mountain forming together. It was like, I don't know, 5 or 6 lights, and they bunched together. And when they got together, they bounced around in the sky. It was like an insect or a bug or something, just bouncing around in the sky. And then it would stop and then start moving in perfectly symmetrical patterns. And that was pretty freaky. It was like something was being tested or something. And it never went away, really. It was there the whole time we were out by the lake. And we went and found like 30 other people and dragged them over to the lake to have them look at it, and so all these other people saw it too.
What lake?
The lake over at the festival where we were at Deerfields, North Carolina. It's where Jerry Garcia got married, out there in the boonies. And And then I saw another one, my third and my last one was actually recently this past summer in Asheville again. I went there to play a show at the garage at Biltmore, and before the show went on, me and all my friends were out back in the parking lot, and I was talking to a friend of mine who was looking up into the sky when we were talking, and he stopped. And so I turned around to look and see what he was looking at, and it was this blue orb that had like a white aura to it. It looks kind of ghosty, just floating up there in the sky, and it stayed there for a few seconds, and then it looked like it exploded. Like, I don't know, I can't explain it. It was a really bright flash, and then it like sucked back into itself, into the orb, and then zoomed off into the sky.
Wow.
Yep, that's all I've seen.
Wasn't there like a green electric one? Didn't you say that, or did you already?
The neon green glowing halo.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the first one I saw. That thing was freaking big. You couldn't miss that.
I've seen I think I've seen a red one or two, but they're usually at night. They're usually white, glowing lights. Pretty much. I'm either seeing the bottom of the craft, or that's what it is. It's like a white orb. I think it's usually just like a white orb, and I noticed that the other summoners, like the Yahweh summoners, are almost always a white orb. Yeah, that's all our. That's it, pretty much. I mean, I'm miscounting a few, but I mean, who cares about the numbers? You know what? And what are they? I don't think many people are really prepared to say that yet. I think a lot of people are jumping the gun on what these objects are. Some would call them dimensionals. There's some Christian fanatics who would jump all over it, and they're like, they're demons. I don't think we're ready to know exactly. But they're there. There's intelligent life. I know, because they can read your mind. And what government agency has telepaths in little tiny, sometimes glowing orbs? That's pretty far out there to assume it's any of our technology that's native terrestrial technology.